Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I'm your host, Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be reviewing the latest and least Guy Ritchie movie ever made.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which is the whole name, by the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't always. That was something that happened in the last few months, right?
I don't know. I think I always remember it being called Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. I'm curious as to the story behind that, why that was tacked on. Maybe to differentiate it from another movie called The Covenant, or...
Maybe to differentiate it from
Alien Covenant.
The Alien Covenant in Halo. Maybe
I meant the movie Alien Covenant.
Oh. I thought you were talking about, the Alien...
No.
organization, The Covenant.
No, I meant the film known as Alien Covenant.
Oh. Well, we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, and then we will give you a spoiler warning, and we will go more in-depth into the movie after that. So, movie's getting really good reviews.
It is.
It is a good movie. It is a heavy movie.
Yes. I could see where it might trigger some PTSD in people.
Definitely.
For that reason, our father decided not to go.
Yep. So, yeah, recommend just being aware of that going into it. It's just over 2 hours long. And it shows operations going on in Afghanistan. It takes place in 2018. And Jake Gyllenhaal's I guess he's special forces of some kind.
I don't know.
But his group is searching for Taliban weapon caches, and they get this new interpreter. And man, there is some butt clenching scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Just real tense stuff. And I was just man, that would just be so hard to do that job.
Right. Yeah, you'd mentioned that, and I was thinking, well, to be the interpreter would be even harder because the Taliban will kill you and your whole family and
yeah, at least
everything.
At least the American soldiers, the Taliban can't do anything to their family stateside.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, man. The balls on those guys, though.
Seriously. So, but it's a pretty good movie, and it just know what you're getting into. I think it's got an 8.2 or something like that.
Which for a war movie,
yeah,
is pretty high.
Yeah, on IMDb, 8.1.
Yeah,
that's pretty high for a war movie. I'm thinking a lot of people are.
There was a lot of 10s in the reviews. The lowest one, I just scrolled down a little bit. I didn't go.
I wouldn't rate it a 10, but it's pretty good.
But I scrolled down through the reviews a little bit, and the lowest rating I saw was a 7. I would put this at a 7.5 myself, probably. But I mean, great performances all around from. There's two main actors in this, and they did really good.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal and Dar Salim, who I'm not familiar with, but
you were telling me the dude lives in Denmark?
Yeah, I was looking at the trivia thing. Yeah, he's a former royal guard in the Danish army. He was born in Iraq, but that doesn't. I don't know how long he might have been a baby when his parents moved to Denmark or something.
I was wondering if he actually does speak Farsi.
I don't know.
Because in so the guy in the movie,
he lives in Copenhagen too. So
the interpreter in the movie, the character in the movie, they mentioned speaks 4 languages, and basically we only ever see him speaking 2. But if for someone like that to believe that they're a native speaker, they kind of need to already be fluent in the language.
So his brother is a guy named Ulla Salim, who directed something called Sons of Denmark. So, I mean, they're Danish for all intents and purposes, right?
Interesting. But yeah, this was a very solid movie. Well done. I mean, it's Guy Ritchie. Like, you don't. Guy Ritchie doesn't do bad movies. The worst Guy Ritchie ever does is Merely Okay.
Yeah,
but it's not a Guy Ritchie movie.
So there is like a lot of banter, but it's between a bunch of soldiers in the way that they banter, making like
calling each other gay.
Yeah, making gay jokes and stuff. And if you spend any time around soldiers, that's what they do.
Yeah, and
don't take that as a negative thing. This is just something that they do.
Yeah, and then also deprecating humor and stuff like that. So it's just how they are. But yeah, there's not that like super snappy comeback dialogue that you get in most Guy Ritchie movies.
Right.
And he wrote this, right?
He's one of the writers.
Okay.
Ivan Atkinson and Maren Davies are the other.
I would be curious.
Listed.
I would be curious about learning about the production on this movie and if this was something that a script or a concept Guy Ritchie had seen floated around and was someone needs to make this movie or what? Just because in the past movies that have been Guy Ritchie's done that didn't feel like Guy Ritchie movies have been he gets tapped to direct a big studio's movie.
Yeah.
A big studio's tentpole movie for that year. This is not that. I think this was Focus, right?
I think so.
It's a pretty small studio. I mean, when compared to
it's actually
Warner
a pretty
Brothers or whatever.
small movie.
Yeah.
You look at it was shot in Spain.
It's the two main dudes and then Jake Gyllenhaal's character's wife and then the interpreter's wife and then 6 other guys in the squad?
Yeah.
And then his commander, the only ones with any real amount of dialogue in the movie.
Yeah, and even you look at the special effects on it, while they're surely not bad. You can tell where it's not a lot of budget put on them.
Yeah, there was one explosion.
I mean, it's mostly practical stuff. It's not a lot of CG or anything.
Well, there was one explosion where I was you can tell that's a pyrotechnic explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And it it wasn't it's weird to say, it wasn't a fast enough explosion.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure a lot of the footage of planes and stuff is stock footage.
Yeah.
One in particular I'll get into.
Oh yeah, towards the end.
Yeah.
There's when it's just in the shot of it just in the sky with no other reference. Yeah.
It's just stock footage.
I was that looks like Call of Duty. I was that looks like a shot from Call of Duty. It's very generic looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, that's... And then, all the, there's, 2 Humvees that I think are actual real driving vehicles in the movie, and then, a bunch of Toyotas.
Yeah. Probably. That sounds about right. But, they worked with what they had, and I think they did a pretty good job with it. So.
Yeah. I mean, the movie, it didn't lose anything for being, a fairly low-budget movie.
No, and it was honestly kind of a small story they were telling.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, big battles or anything.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal gives a really good performance, though, I gotta say.
Well, he usually does.
He does, but...
Old blue eyes. No, there's a character in the movie that comments on his beautiful blue eyes.
Yeah. I never really noticed Jake Gyllenhaal's lazy eye before.
I haven't noticed that he has one.
Yeah, there's that scene that on IMDb, that shot that's up at the top there. That's the trailer up there. That scene where it's zooming in on his face. It's not so much a lazy eye. One eye doesn't droop, the eyelid in his left eye droops.
Yeah, well, we can't all have symmetrical faces.
I mean, it wouldn't be fair if Jake Gyllenhaal had a symmetric face. He's got to have something wrong, right?
Right.
So, go see it. Just understand, it's not like a lighthearted romp or anything.
I mean, if you saw the trailer and thought that it might be, then you need to
Yeah.
get your head checked. I was trying to figure out who this guy that was his friend in the army was. And
he was in like Vikings or something.
Yeah,
right?
he's the main guy in Vikings.
Yeah, I recognized him.
Yeah, I was trying to place him. I was like, I've seen that guy, and I just couldn't place it. But yeah, the guy that's his buddy in the army. That's like not part of his unit, but he's like an intel or something.
I think he's the intel officer for them. Yeah.
Yeah, but
anyway, you got anything else to add to that before we go
no,
to spoilers?
not really.
Yeah. So I guess spoiler warning. Towards the end of the movie, you're talking about that AC-130 that shows up.
Yes,
Spectre.
So I got all excited because something this movie does is when they use military jargon, it throws up on the screen like the definition of it for the normies in the audience who don't necessarily know
rather than have like really awkward,
clunky dialogue.
Than have like really awkward, clunky exposition about that.
It just throws it. So this guy's like takes a minute, this guy makes a comment about how Bagram's going to want to have an angel in the air. Then it says angel below that, angel of death, and below that AC-130 Spectre gunship, and I was like, oh, yes, because I just love that thing. It was the coolest scene in Transformers. Was the one involving one.
Yeah. And one thing I would be curious to go see. So they mentioned using the 105 when this takes place in 2018, and I wonder if that was before or after they removed the 105 and replaced it with the Bofors cannon, the additional Bofors cannon. I
don't know, but yeah, we're at the end of like on that dam, and we're like, oh, when's this gunship gonna show up? Because it's got to show up to save the day, right? Yeah. Everyone there's out of ammo. They're all hunkered down.
Yeah, and you know it's coming.
Yeah, Taliban's like shooting at them, and then like this guy just gets like blown apart, and you're like, "Yep, there it is."
Yep. It had a very satisfying ending. In that way, but it does come up and mention at the end how like, over 300 interpreters and their families have been hunted down by the Taliban that we know of so far since our less than stellar withdrawal from the country.
Yeah.
So, that, is more than mildly infuriating.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a wag of the finger there at that message at the end.
Yeah.
But, so the story overall, though, is Jake Gyllenhaal and his unit are tracking down Taliban bomb factory, and they find one in this old mine, and then they get ambushed, and the only ones, just he and his interpreter, the only ones to make it out alive, and they got to go like 120 kilometers or something to get to safety, and then they get ambushed again, and Jake Gyllenhaal gets like wounded, and Ahmed, the interpreter, drags him like 100 kilometers to get back to Bagram. And they're both kind of like become like local heroes to the people that don't like the Taliban, and then top 2 on the Taliban's wanted list. So Jake Gyllenhaal gets shipped back to the stateside, and then Ahmed's just kind of abandoned there with his wife and newborn baby. And so he's like, Gyllenhaal's on this mission to get Ahmed out of the country, and he winds up having to like go in himself to find him and get him out.
Yeah, because he owes the man. So
yeah, guy saved his life, drug his ass 100 kilometers through, Taliban-held territory. So I mean that's the whole story in a nutshell there. But And of course, they get out at the end, and you feel good for a minute till that message pops up on the screen, and you go, "Oh."
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly like you sort of knew, like you knew how this was gonna go, basically. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't. I figured it was pretty safe that Ahmed and his family would make it out. I was kind of worried that Jake Gyllenhaal's character John might not. Like, he might wind up sacrificing himself for Ahmed.
yeah.
I thought that was a possibility, but that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Got anything else?
No, I don't. I think about covers it.
Yeah. So next weekend is Return of the Jedi, which we're not going to review. It's the 40-year-old movie. And what else? What's
Sisu.
Sisu? Yeah, Sisu. We're definitely going to want to see that. So be on the lookout for that. A bunch of stuff coming up. We saw a trailer for Oppenheimer. First time I've seen a trailer for that.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that. Excuse me, for that movie. It'd be kind of interesting. We were talking about it the other day. I was like, wouldn't it be kind of funny if they have that thing with the newspaper attributing that quote to Oppenheimer, where he says, "I am become death,
Yeah.
to destroy a world," and it'd be funny if he's like looking at that and he's like, "I never said that."
Because apparently he didn't.
Yeah. Apparently he went into the president's office after that and was all like lamenting the death and destruction he caused, and the president like basically called him a wuss and like said, "Hey man, you're being a downer. Get this man out of my don't ever let this man in my office again." And told him, "I'm the one who ordered the bomb drop, not you," or something.
Oppenheimer, total bummer. And let's see. Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the last of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
But it's not the last time the Guardians will be in movies, right?
I don't know.
I mean, if they're gonna...
I'm sure if the money's right.
Well, but I mean, the end of Eternal is set up for some more space shit in Marvel.
Yeah, that's true.
And, like, especially if Galactus is gonna get involved.
Yeah. We'll see. I know Dave Bautista was, like, eager to move on. He said something like he loves Drax, and he loves playing Drax and Opportunity, but there's a point where you get tired of, like, any character. So, I don't know. But I'm sure that, there's a price where Dave Bautista will come back.
Sure.
Especially if it's only, like, a small role in a Marvel movie, not, like, a whole movie. Let's see. What else?
Well, he's going to be in Dune 2, right?
Yes. Fast X. So I guess Vin Diesel said Fast 11 will be the last movie in the series.
Oh, thank goodness.
So we got another one to look forward to after that. Master Gardener, starring Joel Edgerton and Sigourney Weaver.
What if the 11th Fast movie is like Fast Finale?
Not fast enough. Whatever. It's just. I was just reading. I was just.
Joel Edgerton.
I was just like, "What's this Master Gardener about?" The guy's a gardener, and Sigourney Weaver's his boss, and he gardens for this big estate.
Neat.
That's all it said. I'm like, all right, but it's somehow a thriller, so there's got to be more to it than that. But that's not what in the description. Oh yeah, Did we see a trailer for this Kandahar movie with Gerard Butler?
We did.
Yeah.
I guess now that we're officially out of Afghanistan, we're just going to start seeing Afghanistan movies now?
Yeah, everywhere you look, it can be Afghanistan movies.
It's like how the 80s were nothing but Vietnam War movies. Right?
Yeah. Why did it...
Because you weren't signed in, Nolan.
I know. Why did it go back there? Anyway, that's in the near future stuff, so keep a lookout for all that.
Yep. If any of that sounds of interest to you, come back and check that out. Also, go check out our other reviews. What was our last review, Nolan?
Oh, man. What was our last review?
Gotcha.
Renfield.
Yeah. So go check those reviews out and go back and check out our upcoming reviews, I guess.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.